Hello and welcome back to Sarah's Stitch. So this is going to be part 2 of my last episode of me filming my update from London, my first podcast back in months, and my fall knitting plans. So I had some filming difficulties earlier today. I still am having filming difficulties. I had my phone plugged in to charge. Charger wasn't plugged into the wall. So I just filmed all of the fall knitting plans and didn't record a single thing. So take 2 on the knitting plans. If you are new here, my name is Sarah. I am a knitter, obviously, clearly very tech advanced. And I am an accountant. I work in New York City. I live in Hoboken, New Jersey. And I've been knitting for years and years and years and years, but I started again during COVID. Pre-COVID, I was really just crocheting blankets and that was about it. During COVID, I got bored like everyone did and I picked back up knitting. And as my family says, went down the rabbit hole. So this is my place on the internet where I can share with all of you my plans. Today it's plans of what I'm going to be making for this upcoming autumn fall season in 2024. So I hope you're comfortable. I hope you have knitting. I hope you have a beverage, whether it be wine, coffee, tea, water, any of the above. I am getting very near to just wanting wine because, again, a lot of times filming this, but staying strong for the time being. I probably am gonna go run out and get some wine after this, but neither here nor there. Today, I would say the overall theme is kind of needle clear off for the most part. So I think because I was gone for so long, I came back. Everything here is pretty much in chaos with all of my life still not being unpacked. So all I'm really craving is to kind of clear off my needles. I would love to start the new year with, for the most part, clean needles, fresh set of needles, fresh start to the year, or have like a New Year's Eve cast on or like a Christmas Eve cast on and not feel guilty about all of the things that I have back here that I've not worked on in literally months or years in some cases. So that is the overarching theme for today. Nice upper for everyone this morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. But let's get started with the definite need to get done this fall projects, which are, first and foremost, the Stone Crop Pullover by Andrea Mowry. This I am making for my mom for Rybe this year. I talked about it in my podcast episode. I'm sorry if you watched both. It's a little bit of a repeat, so I will try and move through it quickly, but picture should be over here, hopefully, of the stone crop top. And this is where I'm at right now. Like I said, I've just finished filming the podcast, so there's been no progress made on this. Spent 2 hours filming rather than knitting, which kind of kills me a little bit. I have one sleeve done. I need to do the other sleeve. I'm redoing the neck, and I have an inch or 2 to do on the body before I will start the ribbing there. So absolutely doable this fall. And I'd like it to be done for Rybe for my mom. So I'd like to have it done like end of September at the latest. My second project I would absolutely put in the need to get done this fall is this fall. Yes. Felt like I was missing a word there, but absolutely need to get done this fall is the Hansholm. Oh, my oven's preheating. The Hansholm sweater by Petite Knit. I'm making this for my dad. Again, a picture should be here. I am knitting this out of Sorella Classic DK in the color Am I Laughing or Crying, which is a Gilmore Girls collection color. I believe it was based off of Suki. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it was based off Suki. I'm knitting that to pattern. It is the size medium, and I'm knitting it on 4mm needles for the body. I don't know what the ribbing is, probably 3 or 3.5, whatever the pattern calls for. I typically don't stray far in petite knit patterns because my gauge typically is around hers. So I haven't had any issues with it before. touch wood. So that is my second non-negotiable sweater that needs to get done this fall. Also ideally before the end of the month. So in 28 days. And it's been on the needles since I think February. So feels doable. Feels like something I could have finished before now, but what do I know? And then the third sweater I'd very much like to have done is my Rybe sweater, which is the framed sweater, also by Andrea Mowry. I'm probably going to knit it in a size 3, maybe a size 4, depending on the ease of the garment. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. And I believe it's knit on 5mm needles. The yarn I picked up for it, is West Wool Tandem, which is a DK weight, 100% South American merino, non-superwash wool. And that will be the ribbing and the other contrast color for the body of the sweater. And then I have Spin Cycle Dream State in the color Kaluna, which is for the Spin Cycle aspect. I don't know if I said yet, but the tandem colors are corduroy for the ribbing and Wellington for the body. I will put a picture of the 3 of them up here, hopefully together. Actually, I can just show you them. They're all right next to me. I don't need to make my life more difficult. Again, I showed this on the podcast, so I'm sorry for repeating myself, but these are the 3 of them together. And I'm planning, I hope that wasn't too close. One of those is bound to be good, hopefully. And I'm planning on, there's a bug. Gross. I am going to actually do a gauge swatch for that one because, again, the tandem is DK and the pattern calls for a worsted weight. So I want to just see what the gauge is with the recommended needles before I go in guns blazing, just not gauge swatching, because I did actually do the math and calculate how many skeins I would need of both yarns for my sweater. And I do want to lengthen the sleeves a little bit, just to make them full length sleeves. I'm probably going to keep it cropped, but I prefer full length sleeves personally. So I think I'm going to need a little bit extra of the Wellington. So I want to try and stay as close to gauge as I can with that. All right. So those are my 3 non-negotiable sweaters this fall. And by this fall, I mean until October. Call it 15th for some time for blocking with my sweater, which feels like a lot, which is fine, but it feels like a lot. So after that, I feel like I'm going to want some stockinette, some non-pressured knitting. So my other plans for this fall include lots of socks. I want more socks in my life. I already have a ton, but it feels like I have none right now because I need to wash all of them. And I just want to freshen up my sock wardrobe. Not always go for the same ones that I always go for, you know? So I'd like to knit a couple pairs of socks a month this autumn if I can. I'm going to probably focus heavily on stockinette, like plain vanilla socks, just so I can feel like I'm multitasking when I knit them, because I can really, like if I wanted to read or watch TV or anything, I don't really need to look at that while I'm knitting. So I've got a lot of sock yarn to get through. I don't think I'll ever get through all of it, honestly, at this point, but I'd like to pretend like I'm going to try. And that's not going to happen unless I knit a lot of socks. So I'd like to try and do like 2 pairs a month if I can, just to start knitting down my stash a little bit. And I'd love to find my 2mm double point needles. If anyone knows where I stuck those, please do let me know, because I can't find them anywhere. Other things I think I'm going to make are probably some mitts or mittens for myself I have these Woolberry Road Trip 50-gram skeins that I think would be great with just a plain sari or plain mohair held with it, and just make like Vienna mitts or penny gloves or something like that. Just a simple either mitt or mitten with a 50-gram skein. So those are the plans. I'm sure there's going to be an Oslo hat involved as well, maybe 2, who knows, or a weekend hat, something like that. So that is what the new and exciting projects are in my mind. As I mentioned at the start of the episode, sorry, I'm just making sure I'm still recording. Okay. Okay, so as I mentioned at the start of the episode, I am feeling a lot of cleaning energy, which is not normal for me. If you ask anyone in my family, or if you are my family, you know, I'm not a big cleaner, declutterer, anything of the sort, but I am feeling slightly overwhelmed by the number of projects I have on the needles right now. Specifically in sweater world, I can live with one sock for the rest of my life. I have so many socks that I don't ever think are gonna get a mate, and I'm okay with that. I'd like some of them to have mates, and that's part of what I'd like to knit this winter, because if I knit one sock, then I automatically have a pair of socks for half of my socks I've knit. But I've got a lot of sweaters on my needles, and I just want to get them off, kind of organize my needle stash, all of that. I want like to start recycling or cycling through like where I keep all my projects. I've seen the same projects, I think, for over a year, some of them. So I'd like to see some new yarn. So I've got a huge stash, and I'd like to start knitting through it if I can. So these are the list of sweaters that I'm going to try and finish, or would very much like to like at least take a few out of the potential of just lingering over the next couple months, which are, I think there's like 6, which is absurd. So the first, and I think the oldest, is my cumulus blouse, which I believe I talked about in my London podcasts. It is a pattern by Petite Knit. It is a V-neck, Surrey held double, or alpaca, mohair held double pattern. I'm holding Surrey held double for it. I have 2 colors from Woolberry Fiber Company. The colors are Tidal and Pacific. It's a light blue tonal and a blue variegated greeny, dark blue speckles in there. Variegated color held together the whole way through. It's gorgeous. I would love it. It would be a great spring piece, fall piece, like just a weather shifting in between seasons sweater. It's been on the needles for I think like 1.5 years or 2 years. Would really like to get that done, or at least make some more progress on it. The next sweater I have, these are in no particular order. I just wanted to remember, I wanted to make sure I remembered that one because I forgot that one last time, and I just went to turn the oven on and realized I forgot a sweater. So good job me. The next sweater I'd like to work on or finish is my Tazo sweater, also by Petite Knit, which is knit the exact same way she made her first Tazo sweater, with the Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo yarn and the Isayer Silk Mohair. The colorways are the exact same. I haven't seen it in months because I didn't work on it after I left for London, so I don't know what's left of it. I'm pretty sure I did a sleeve. I know I haven't done the neck. I don't know if I did a second sleeve. I don't know if I finished the body. I have no idea where it is. I also don't know where I put it or where it is in its life of a project, but I would like to get that done if I could. I think that would be a great sweater to have this winter, and I'd like to have it done. Next, I have my sweater number 9 Light, which is by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I'm sorry I haven't said it for all of them. I'm saying it for the ones I know off the top of my head right now. I know the cumulus blouse is knit on 4.5mm needles. I'm not sure what the Tazo sweater is knit on. I'm pretty sure it's 5mm needles. The sweater number 9 Light, I'm pretty sure is knit on 4mm needles. I would have talked about it at some point in a podcast in the last year. I cast it on last December, and it is being knit out of Woolberry Fiber Cashmere DK in the color Alpine, which was a Winter Society box last year. And it is a gorgeous turtleneck sweater. I love it. I just want the sweater. Again, I have no idea where I left it. I'm pretty sure you knit the neck first. So the turtleneck part's done. I'm pretty sure I did a sleeve. Maybe I didn't. I'm pretty sure I finished the body, but maybe I didn't. I think it just has a sleeve left on it, but I honestly don't know. So that's on the list. Next is my Miles shirt jacket by Ozetta, which I am knitting out of Nutidin yarn in the color Yinst, which is a really, really pretty light blue. I have tried knitting that pattern so many times with that yarn, and we're not getting along. Finally, I don't know when, I decided, screw it, I'm just knitting it at whatever gauge 2 strands of knitted in held together are, and that's what it's gonna be. If it's too big, whatever, it's not gonna be too small because my gauge was massive compared to the pattern. So I'm pretty sure I'm past the armhole division, and I would really like to put at least a little bit of progress on that this fall into winter if I could. I think it'd be a really great thing to have next spring, and I really want the top shelf of my cabinet back for other yarn that I have. The next sweater I have, I'm trying to think which ones I've said, the tessellated, my Rybe sweater from last year that I haven't really touched much since I figured out I was probably not going to make it to Rybe last year. I'm pretty sure I'm positive I got through the body and sewed the shoulders together. I'm pretty sure I've started the sleeve. I'm pretty sure I've also not finished the sleeve. I don't know if I did the bottom ribbing. Oh no, I know I did the bottom ribbing because it's bottom up. Done. I know I need to do the neck, and I think I need to do a sleeve and maybe finish a sleeve, and then that would be done. And that would be great to have because I love the colors of that. It's knit in, I think it's on 3.25 millimeter needles, which is painful. And I knit it out of the recommended yarns. So it is Spinster's Daughter, which is the Spin Cycle Farmer's Daughter Fibers collab in the sport weight yarn. And that color is York. I have Odang in the color Ranch Romance, which is a really, really pretty light blue. York's like a darky teal kind of color. And then the Spin Cycle I have is Mississippi Marsala, which is gorgeous. It has like fun orange and red pops in it. It's it's such a good sweater, and I really just want the sweater, and I know I could, stop distracting myself and knit that sweater, but I haven't. So that is also on the list. And then I think, one more. I hope I've gotten all 6. If not, there's another one floating around. The last one, I believe, is my Monday sweater by Petite Knit as well. That is also knit on 4 millimeter needles. It is a strand of fingering and a strand of mohair or Surrey held together. I'm knitting that on Woolberry Fiber Company as well in the color Festive, and I think there was another like Cranberry Cocktail or something. One is a speckle, one is a solid. I don't know which is which. I got them as part of the Christmas holiday box last year, 2 years ago. I don't know if it was a Christmas or a holiday box or a winter box, but I picked the red option. It's the red option. It's gorgeous. I think it will be such a nice fall sweater to have, and it is not very far along. So probably should work on that. Those are all of the sweaters I currently have on the needles that have not had any progress in quite a bit of time. So I would like to get them done, or at least take a few off the list so I feel like I've made some progress, and maybe try and keep myself from casting anything on. If my memory is correct and they are all where I think they are, none of them have that much work left in them. So I think it could be doable to get some of them off the list, like the Tazo sweater and the sweater number 9 light and the cumulus blouse and those types of sweaters that have like a sleeve left. I could so do in like a weekend. I just haven't, and it's so silly. So I want to try and start clearing off my needles and feel like a little bit of organized chaos come back into my life rather than just chaos. If for some reason I'm a miracle worker and I get through all of that, or even like half of the cast on sweaters already, I may cast on a new sweater. I really want to make myself a Christmas sweater this year. I think it'd be so fun to just have a Christmas colorwork sweater that like screams Christmas, that is just like a staple Sarah. Every year I wear it on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I think it'd be so fun, and I really want to make one this year. So I'm hoping I can kind of squeeze that in somewhere. I don't know what colors I would do it in. I kind of want to do a festive yoke pullover by Skein Deer, but I don't know what colors I would do it in. I need to pick motifs, and I kind of want to just give a little search to see if there's anything else that kind of tickles my fancy. but I'm leaning towards a festive yoke pullover. I think it'd be so fun, and I really, really want one. So if I can swing it, I may start that because I would love one. Another sweater I would consider casting on, which I feel as though I'm a broken record when it comes to fall and autumn knitting plans talking about this sweater, is the balloon sweater by Petite Knit. I have yarn for it that I purchased from Explore Knits and Fiber, I don't know how long ago, from the Ireland collection. The second drop, which makes it a little bit better. I have the color Celtic something, gold. I literally don't even remember the name of it. Celtic gold. Celtic maybe? It's the yellow. It's like a really, really pretty golden mustard yellow, which I think is such a good fall color. And I have a strand of cashmere and a strand of Surrey to hold that together to make a balloon sweater. And I think it would be gorgeous because it's a very, very solidly dyed tonal color. So there wouldn't be a ton of variegation. I think it would look so nice as like a fancy sweater, not just like a sweater. So I would love to do that. And then the other sweater I would like to do, this probably will be pushed to the winter or the spring, but I would like to make a Marseille sweater, also by Petite Knit. And that is a striped jumper, which I got yarn for in the Gilmore Girls collection with the Suki yarn. I got the color Chilton, which is it micro stripes, I think, when it's knit in a small circumference, based off of how it looks in like the swatches and things. But it's like a cream into light blue into like a darker blue variegation. And years ago, I think it was the District Knitter on Instagram. She made a Marseille sweater with just like a cream, like Peruvian Highland wool or something like that, and a Sorella yarn. I think the yarn she used was from the Taylor Swift collection. If I had to guess, it was Lover. I'm not positive. I haven't looked at this picture in ages, but I'm pretty sure it was Lover. It should be on screen. And I love the look of that, so I would love to try and replicate that in my own Marseille sweater, just in more my color palette of blues and creams and whatever. So that would be something I would really like to knit. I might push that to winter or spring though, because I think that would be a great spring sweater. So those are my knitting plans. Please let me know if I missed anything. If I said anything that maybe is going to get added to your knitting list, or if you're knitting anything of the same of me this fall, please do let me know and we can commiserate or motivate each other together. I'm so glad to see you again, even though I'm filming this on the same day. I hope you're enjoying me being back as much as I am right now, and I hope you enjoyed watching, knitting, hopefully hydrating or dehydrating through this video. And I gave you a little bit of inspiration and kept you company for a little bit. So until next time, my next podcast, I will talk to you later, and happy making. Bye.